So my name is Jonathan. I have a T10 spinal cord injury, complete. I'm paralyzed, obviously, with the wheelchair.
And hi, my name is Erica, aka Bird Martinez, bitch, if you didn't know. So I'm here with my friend Jonathan. So I have a C1, C2 incomplete injury. And yeah, so every day, me and John, like 3 times a week, we talk about like stuff like our injuries and the good things and the bad things. It's just a different lifestyle, and we came up with the idea that we should record it and talk about it so others could, like, if you don't have an injury, so people could understand what we go through. Because I feel like a lot of people can't relate. They just see a person in a wheelchair and they're like, oh, it's just a person in a wheelchair. But there's so much more that comes with it, you know? So we're just gonna talk about it. And if you want to listen, if you have an injury, you could relate to us. And if you don't want to listen, then it's all good.
Yeah, we're here to teach. And we, like she said, we do a lot of talking already about our, daily lifestyles and kind of how to overcome challenges that you might not expect to be in someone's life. Especially like after paralysis, there's a lot of little things that need to be like adjusted to. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of people, at least myself, before I was injured, I had no idea about any of this stuff, and it's kind of eye-opening. It's kind of interesting.
It is. It's especially so. Jonathan got injured when he was 17, so his thing is like a whole different thing. Because I feel like I want to know that part, but I feel like when being 17, you're already going through so many changes. You don't know yourself yet. You're like kind of like a man, but you're not really a man. You're becoming a man. Your dick is growing, but it's not growing. It's a whole mess, right? So, I got my injury at 34, and I was mad because I was like, God only gave me 34 years of life of being normal. Well, it's not even normal because nobody is normal, because this is my new normal. But it was really hard to, ¿cómo se dice?
To cope?
To cope and to like transition to this, Because I never knew like that there were so many things that they was like, these bitches kept telling me, we're a bowel program, your bowel program. I was like, what the fuck is a bowel program? And then I understood it. And then it's like, oh, well, you have to be positive and you have to do this. And I'm like, I just want to walk. I just want to move my hands. I see that I'm not going to do that, and I'm not going to be normal, and I'm okay with it. But I feel like for you, being 17, how was that?
So that was 16 years ago. I've been doing this for a while, and it's been great. It was really hard at first, especially not knowing whether you'd be able to drive, whether you could travel places, whether you could hold a normal job. Just the little things in life even, spending time with family, is it going to be awkward? Maybe making new friends. How are you going to meet people? Are they going to judge you? I feel like as an able-bodied person, you don't really think about these things at all. And as far as like seeing them, if you see like a person in a wheelchair out in the wild, there could be like a million things or different things that would be wrong with them. They might be paralyzed, but then maybe they had a stroke, or maybe they hit their head, maybe they were born with spina bifida. There's a lot of different reasons that someone could be in a wheelchair, and we both happen to share the same reason, which is spinal cord injury. So like I said, I've been at it for 16 years now. Erica's a relatively new injury, so she's like learning as it, like basically on camera today. I'm sure you've even like experienced some things today that you've had to kind of work through.
Yeah, so before I would like make videos and I would just use my hands, like, even get like a cup and just put my phone right there and start recording. And then when I got my injury, it was like, I can't hold the phone, I can't even take a selfie. And it was so hard. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, why does God even make this? And then I remember when I was in the hospital, I was in a room full of people like with injuries, and I was like, look at these old ass motherfuckers. They look like they're dying. And I saw people dying, and that was scary. And I thought I was gonna die there. So I feel like, I don't know. I feel like at 34, you're like a woman, like a mother and stuff. So that's what I thought about the most. Like my kids and shit. Like, oh, are they? I'm not gonna be able to help them anymore like I used to. But I feel like the fact that I'm there, and even if I can do like cook for them and all that, I feel like it's okay. But yeah, you're right. It's not just like, so a lot of people don't know that every spinal cord injury, every injury is different. Even if you and me have the same one, like let's say I was a T10, like you.
Injured down here.
Yeah, it's still not gonna be the same because
True.
everybody's different. Like me, I'm a C1, C2, and I'm supposed to be paralyzed. Like they told me, you're not gonna move. So
yeah, only your face, right?
Only my face. And I did wake up. I woke up like this, and I woke up with like moving around like a little bit, and I was like, "Fuck." You're like trapped in your own body. Did you ever feel like so when you woke up,
yeah,
did you move your hands?
When I woke up originally, I was on the floor. I had fallen out of a car, so I was like on the dirt on the floor, off the side of the highway, and everyone around me was telling me, "Don't move. Like whatever you do, don't move."
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of like laid there in like, I don't know, fetal position, like with my arms close to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember like thinking, like, I'm not in much pain, but that's probably from like adrenaline shock.
Mm-hmm.
But more so that like, it wasn't like, oh, I can't feel my legs. That's not like necessarily a sensation you feel. Like if I were to close my eyes now, I still feel like I can feel my legs, even though like touching them and stuff, it doesn't give me that sensation like it used to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot different.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like for me, when I woke up, I don't know. It feels like you're floating. Like for me, it feels like my whole body. Feels like my whole body was numb. But what I didn't like is that everybody felt bad for you. Everybody and their mama, they feel bad for you. Oh, pobrecita. Oh, like, you know, and every time they say, oh, this is Erica, she's a quadriplegic, she has a, how do you call it, like your bladder doesn't work anymore.
Incontinence.
Incontinent, like nothing worked. And I feel like that's a big, that's something that the nurses should watch out for. So I'm in the hospital, right, and I'm just laying there. And every time there was like, the nurses, you know, when they switch.
Yeah, the rounds.
Every time they would do it right in front of me. And they would keep reminding me that I'm a quadriplegic. I feel like they should go to the side and talk about that in the side, because I don't want to be reminded I'm new at this. I've had like a month being injured. Why do they have to keep repeating it and repeating it and repeating it? I feel like that's a big like slap in the face, because you're
they're like defining you.
Yeah, they're defining you.
You're a person. You're an individual. You're not an injury. You're not a quadriplegic. You're a person with quadriplegia.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot different.
And then we hear this is a stroke patient. This is this and this is this and this and this. And then you know you're in a room full of people. And I remember there was a girl right in front of me, and she could eat. I had the vent, and she could eat right. And I would look at her. This girl was eating a big ass burger. She was eating a Diet Coke, drinking a Diet Coke, and I was like, oh, I'm so jealous of her. Like, why is she getting all this food, and I'm over here like no food?
Yeah.
So anyways, time passed, and one day they were like changing her, and when they changed her, they took off the blanket. This girl had no legs.
Oh, she's double amputee?
Yeah, no legs, and I was like, you know, you never know. What you think they have it better, you know? You think the grass is greener on the other side. So she had no legs, and then it turns out that she had to get dialysis every day.
It was diabetic.
Yeah. No.
Or had renal failure, sorry.
Yeah, so she had something, and then, I don't know, she had all these issues. And I'm like, well, I have my legs. I'm okay. You know, you need to, you know, even if you're a complete injury, let's say that. And I know it's hard because I've seen it. You know, I had a friend named Mr. Who.
Yeah.
He was complete injury. And I would see him having panic attacks, and I know it's hard, but you're still alive, you know. And he would talk about his cat, about his daughters and stuff like that. And you know, I feel like, yeah, people say stay positive and all that shit, but you know, we're here for like a while. I know people say that you're here for a reason. No, we're here for a while. we should take advantage of what we have.
Yeah.
I know it's fucked up, man. This shouldn't even exist. I mean, for you it's so positive because I feel like you just took charge of your situation. Right?
Yeah, I feel like I accepted it really quick, and I haven't really received much as far as like sensation or like muscle movement returning. My injury's kind of always been static, so I know like for an incomplete injury, you're kind of maybe getting new ability every day, so you don't know what the end of the road's going to look like. But for me, at least, I feel like I had already seen examples of like paralyzed from the waist down or whatever in like pop culture type of stuff, like in movies and things. So I kind of maybe knew what to expect a little bit as far as maybe what you'll look like when you're out there. But the challenges that you experience, like when you're actually out on the street or doing whatever you're doing, is significantly more, you know, intimidating than you might think.
Yeah, like the first time I got in my wheelchair, the first time I sat down in my wheelchair, I felt like my ribs were crushing. So I was in a room, my husband, my kids were there, and I looked at my reflection, you know, and I was in a wheelchair, and I lost my shit. I lost my shit because I never imagined myself in a wheelchair.
Right.
Like in my head, I thought I was going to go from a bed to walking.
Right.
So when I got in a wheelchair, I was like, this is real. It's over. Like, I'm going to be in a wheelchair. I lost it. I cried for like an hour. Because I didn't want to be in a wheelchair. You know, it's for you. I feel like you're strong about it. But for me, I was so weak and so angry. Like, this motherfucker stabbed me. Look where he left me. He did it on purpose. And I was like, fuck you, God. You did this to me. And it was such anger. But with a wheelchair, you have freedom.
Right. You can start deciding where you want to go with your life and not just having people push you around, like physically and metaphorically.
Yeah.
That, and you're a parent, so I could imagine the transition from, like you're saying, hospital bed to sitting in a wheelchair. It's a lot harder to accept. You know, I was so young that I feel like at that age, maybe, you know, you don't know what your future has for you as much. But when you've already had 3 kids and you're kind of like living your best life, and then suddenly you have all this ability taken away from you by someone assaulting you, no less, you know, that's like not only the hardest thing you could experience, but now you have little ones, you know, that are going to be grown one day that you're still responsible to have help grow. Now they have to see their mom injured, and so you have to show that strength for them.
Yeah, that's another thing. You know, when you're injured and you get older, I always think about that because I always imagine myself to be like a old bad bitch, you know, like I wanted to be old but like cool, like I don't do drugs, but like I was like, oh, maybe when I get old I'm gonna do drugs.
Hell yeah.
So I could get over it, you know, smoke something. So I wanted to be like old and like cool, like be independent, like take care of myself, not to be like relying on my kids. And I was like, oh, when I get old, I'm going to be crip walking, like, so whoop, and do all kinds of stuff. And then this happened to me, and then I'm like, how am I going to be when I get old? You know, people already changing my diapers right now. I don't have a diaper no more. I went from diaper to pull-ups to now wear underwear. So when I would have the diapers, I'm like, I'm 34, and these people are putting my diaper on. Imagine when I'm old.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's a big thing because it's like growing old as an able body is like, okay, you know, you have your challenges. But growing old with a disability, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, instead of seeing everyone who had done it before you, like your parents and their parents and, you know, your examples of the community, suddenly, since disabled people don't really have much representation in communities, you know, a lot of them are shut-ins and whatnot. So we don't really see what it's like, you know, to go out on your own if you're disabled. It's like, because no one really does that, you know?
Yeah. So I feel like there should be, I want to see examples, you know, that guy, Adam, he came.
Yeah.
He's complete injury, and he's been a quad for 30 years. That guy inspired me.
Yeah,
because,
totally.
You know, being a complete quad, and still having his business, living by himself and doing all that, I'm like, oh, well, it's possible. Yeah, I'll probably be in a wheelchair, probably be old, But that's why I feel like when you have a disability, you should take care of yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be like disabled and then have the diabetes or have kidney problems. You know, you should take care of your health. I'm not saying like, oh, you can't like pig out and be a fat motherfucker, but like I'm saying like take care of your health.
It's true. Like when you already have a disability, that means that any little thing, like even getting the flu, can be that much more severe because suddenly, you know, let's say you have to go to the hospital, it's not as easy to get yourself to the hospital. So,
No.
you know, you have to think about these things.
Yeah, you really do, and that's why I get all because my mom, my grandma, my uncle, they all have diabetes. So I'm like, no, I can't get diabetes. You know, I used to eat a lot of candy, always with my candy, and like my Red Bull. So I'm like, no, like I have to change to fruit, you know, because it's hard. But it's hard for me because I love candy. But like, if I get diabetic, I'm gonna die. Like I always burn myself, and they close, you know, and I'm okay, cool. But if I'm diabetic
They
and
don't
I get
close
a
so
cut,
easy.
then I'm gonna have a big thing, and it could get infected and hit the bone. And I'm like, oh hell no! This is things that you know, you really have to think about yourself when you have a disability. You know, even if you're like able-bodied, you still have to think about that too. But for us, it's a little harder.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to like diabetes, for instance, and you're able-bodied, there's a lot of examples already of people living their best lives, you know, still with diabetes. There's like, they're on commercials and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, there's not necessarily any like spinal cord injuries with diabetes in these commercials because it's just that more detrimental to our lifestyle. You know, suddenly like what would be a bad injury for someone who's walking, you know, they can heal up pretty quick. But when you have like poor circulation, for instance, it takes wounds a lot longer to heal. And if you can't feel your skin, it's a lot easier to like get yourself nicked up and cut up and stuff, you know, and you won't even notice like until you're back home and it's like, well, I'm dripping blood. I wonder how long it's been like that for.
Yeah. Like I can't feel half of my body. I'm like this straight, like that, my belly button. So like sometimes I'm cutting, like this happened to me. I'm cutting a shrimp. I'm getting all like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get distracted. I look over there, and then all of a sudden the shrimp feels a little hard, and I'm cutting my finger.
Oh no.
So that's now my finger is a little cut. Like there's a piece missing, and I didn't even notice, you know, because
You can't feel your hand.
I can't feel my hands. And then I pick something up and it has no weight. It's like a feather. And I mean, sometimes it's a good thing because if they gave me a shot like the coronavirus shot, I didn't feel nothing. Like if my kids like play with my armpit, I'm like sleeping. Sometimes they take the blood pressure, I'm knocked out. I don't even notice. I mean, it has its perks, but you know, I wish I could feel so I could feel the floor, so I could. The first time my husband bought me a pillow. You know those body pillows?
Yeah, the long ones.
Yeah, I was so excited. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna rest. I got the pillow. He put it next to me. I hugged it, and I couldn't feel it.
Oh no.
And that's the whole point of getting a body pillow, because you want to feel comfortable.
Yeah, it gives you something to embrace.
Yes, and I couldn't feel it, so I got so angry because I couldn't feel it, and I threw it. I was like, fuck this pillow. I'm not gonna feel it. But now I'm like, yeah, I don't feel it, but I'm still comfortable. So I got over that. It's just getting used to being you. You know, if you're just like, oh, I can't feel the pillow and my life sucks, then yeah, your life is gonna.
I can
suck.
never enjoy a body pillow ever again.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone from my life now. Is maybe what some people might jump to that conclusion, and it's not the right way to live. I think life is a lot more about like adapting and, you know, making your environment more comfortable for yourself, but also making yourself more comfortable around your environment. Not only that, but I feel like a lot of the injury recovery part comes with kind of like your mental matching what you're able to do now, so that you can relearn your limits again.
Mhm. You just learn and learn. Like now, I hug the pillow and my arm falls asleep and this side, it's all mess. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hug it, and I hug my son. Yeah, I have all these messed up days where I'm stiff. You know, I can't poop because I didn't even know poop was a big deal. Like people like always say poop, 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 and it's like, so how much did you poop and this and that? And I'm like, leave my poop alone. But it's a big, if you have a regular thing, then you're healthy. You know what I mean? That's a good thing. So I just, now I feel like I just go with the flow. Yeah, I have bad days, but just the fact that I grab my son and I could squeeze him before I had to be like this, kind of like that, and I could squeeze him. I'm like, you know what? Life is okay. Yeah, I bitch a lot. Yes, I get mad, annoyed, but it's okay.
I think that's part of the ride. It's not exactly easy to move forward with a spinal cord injury, but being able to joke about it or cope in whatever way you find best for yourself, you know, having others around you even to just bounce ideas off of, like, this is so terrible, and maybe someone could give you some perspective on your life to realize that you might have more ability or more to look forward to than you thought.
Yeah, like I feel like having people like yourself around you helps a lot, because you can't relate to regular people, able-bodied people, but you could relate to, like, I could relate to Jonathan. Like, he was the first person that I saw cooking. He was in the kitchen and he was with his wheelchair, and I looked at him, and he didn't notice I was looking at him. I look at everybody. I'm an observer, not a stalker, observer. So he was like right there, and he was cooking. I was like, what the fuck, this motherfucker's cooking? Like, you know, because my cooking is my thing. So I saw him, and then I went up to him, like, so can you teach me how to cook? Because I love to cook. And he took his time, and he's like, yeah, so I do this, I go sideways, and, you know, my chair lifts up. So he, like, showed me. And those little 2 minutes or maybe 5 minutes helped me so much. And I'll remember that for the rest of my life. And, like, if you have an injury and you teach, you know, take 5, instead of being pissed off at the world, you take 5 minutes to show somebody what you know, what you learned, and what you conquered, you might change somebody else's life instead of being so angry, you know? Because life is really short and really fast. Like, days go by so, now before, days were kind of like slow, but now they're kind of fast for me, and I'm like, damn, you know, I need to enjoy this. So, yeah, 5 minutes of your time for somebody else might inspire them, and you never know who's looking at you. You know, you never know who's observing you.
Yeah, that's the whole reason we're even here talking today.
Yeah, so you could observe our asses. You know what I'm saying?
There's no other, like, I don't know, cool, like, crazy cripples out there, like, willing to open their lives.
We need some role models up in this bitch, for real, though. Like, I always look at movies and stuff. We need some cool-ass role models.
Representation
in a wheelchair. Like, all these people have the representation, but we don't, and we need one, you know? We need one or two. You could be that person. Maybe we could be those people. You never know. But I feel like it's time for us to be represented. You know, times have changed. Like, before, they would put us in
That's
facilities.
Right.
And before, they would, like,
they would institutionalize you.
Institutionalize, yeah.
They already know that you're going to be put in your little space with your other, you know, crippled buddies in your hospital beds with, like, 4+ to a room. And the only people you're going to see is maybe your family shows up, but it's kind of inconvenient, and they don't think you're getting any better. So you're pretty much stuck with the staff and whomever else you can make friends with.
Yeah, that's your family right there, and it's not right.
Yeah, there were no, like, cool wheelchairs, even these ones, you know, to get around in. There's no, like, independence even 50 years ago. They were just barely starting to come up with some of this mobility aid stuff.
Yeah, so we need change, and we need awareness, and we need to be understood. You know, it's not just a thing. We're not just a freaking handicap sign in the side. We're people, and this is the reason why we're doing this. And I hope it helps some of you. I hope you guys understand us. And, you know, it's our first day. It's the first time we do this. But, you know, it's going to get, like, we're going to go with the flow. And it's, you know, it's going to work out. And I hope you guys really like it. And because I like it. I like to talk about this shit.
Yeah, I find it really interesting. Not only that because Erica's such a new injury, and I've been at it so long now that, you know, maybe I don't have as many questions as I used to because I've been through some stuff and kind of experienced it already. And then I see Erica, who is just starting her journey and just starting to maybe encounter some of the obstacles that I saw myself facing when I was young. And it's not fun to do it alone. And it helps immensely to have even just a little bit of a positive role model or some sort of positive, you know, other person in your life to kind of help you see things that it's not the end of the road, but maybe it's time to take a turn and divert your course so you can keep moving forward no matter what.
Yeah. And then also we have the fact that he's a male and I'm a female. So, you know, he has those male opinions and I have the female opinions, and he's a paraplegic and I'm a quadriplegic. So it's like we got both.
Plus the incomplete injury and a complete injury. You can see she's got her legs crossed. She has some movement.
Yeah, I do. I can't move my hips that good. I have like cement in my chest. I swear I have, but my legs are good. I can't feel this one, but I can feel this one. This one's my right side, my weak side. So I can't live. I have a frozen shoulder, so I could feel with this side. But since I can't feel this side, I don't even know how to feel this side. I don't even know how to feel with this side. It's so complicated. But I'm glad I have my body. I'm glad I'm alive. It's not even, whatever. It's just something I have to go through. I'm not even tripping anymore. I'm so happy because I finally got to this point. I feel like it was forever. I even got dehydrated from crying so much. But I just want to do my hair. That's the only thing, because these bitches don't know how to do hair. Sometimes
it comes down to just the simplest things in life, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you could be stuck in the hospital bed, eating crappy food all day with angry staff around you, but if you can do your own hair and feel good and feel confident about yourself, that can totally brighten your day and turn all that around. So like really getting the littlest things back and like enjoying the smallest aspects of independence in your life can bring out like the best in you.
We all have those one things that we really enjoy, like folding my sleeves, having my hair, having my hoops on. It just makes me feel like me. And if I don't have it, I mean, I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to be, but it just feels like I'm not complete. And that's what makes me happy, the little things. Like, I even thought of sewing the sleeves up so they could always be up, because I don't like it when down, because I have skinny arms. So I feel like I look anorexic with my skinny arms. So I don't know. You know how those people would have like little ass skinny arms and then they look hunchback? I feel like I look like that when I don't have my sleeves pulled up. But I mean, if you're like that and with skinny arms, it's okay. Rock that shit. You know, I'm not saying that you're messed up. That's just that. That's just me.
Yes, personal preference.
But yeah, so this is our first episode. So
we already have like some topics planned out. Even there's a lot more to go into, but I think we just wanted to spend this time kind of laying it all out there and giving people an idea of what it's like just from a quick perspective of talking to someone who's got a spinal cord injury.
Yep.
And as far as like the more in-depth stuff, like, I don't know, sex, drugs, you know, getting out to concerts, whatever you want to do to have fun, we can get further into that too.
Yeah.
Because there's different ways to do all those things.
Yeah. And we will get to those subjects when we get a chance to our next episode. And we're going to do the damn thing.
That's right.
And yeah. So anyways, that's it. I hope you guys liked it. And peace out.
Peace out.